Hello and welcome. This is Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well today. I'm recording this episode on the March 31, 8:30 Central African Time in the morning. No news yet of sightings. So before we get started, the subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. And all cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. And in today's episode, I'm doing a 6th reading for Catherine. And the question being posed today, the question being posed in this episode is Princesses of Wales, cursed or not? Now, all right, so I want to just show you guys before we get into this. I accumulated a number of dates with Diana, Catherine, Charles, William. Their date of births, including their marriages, when they became Princess of Wales, and when they got divorced in the case of Diana, and then in case of Catherine, missing, and then Diana, I also have a murder date, and Catherine a missing date. And we'll also look at Charles and William, and also look at the days that they became heir apparent. And in the case of William, created Prince of Wales as a result of Charles becoming king. So we'll look at those days as well, because I heard a rumor around that situation. All right, so I'm going to start off with Diana and Charles. Now, I've got both their dates of birth here, as well as the marriage date, as well as the divorce date, as well as the murdered date. So, if we start with Diana, she has born July the 1st, 1961. Now, she is a life path 7, and I can tell you now, someone with a life path 7, and I'll add the link to the first video I did on with a particular focus on the murder. But anyone with a life path 7, in the case of Diana, she has 2 7s. So double impact, to be confined within walls and rules and regulations will not go down well with her at all. She does present the 888s. Now, of course, the news about her bulimia and that kind of thing is relevant, because 8 speaks about the biological system, the human body, and when you have that many 8s, can be fragile. And that's why I would say the environment that she spent most of her adult life, because she was only 20 years old when she got married, would have been in the confines of rules and regulations. And that would compound the effect on her body, because she is certainly not one for rules and regulations either. She has no 4s. 4s can deal with rules, regulations, and in fact, they're happy to go by it if they got 4s, right? So Charles, the date of birth there, I briefly mentioned in a previous reading about him. I'm not going to go too much into his date of birth, except to say when you look at Diana and Charles together, now they have a match 16-7. So his 16-7 is in the day, and Diana's life path outcome. So that's the only real connection they have from a numerology point of view. So very little else connects them. And the marriage date for me, of course, we can appreciate that within the royal family, marriages are more arranged, they're more suited, or there's a collective saying about these marriages, particularly within the royal family, and that is actually evident in the 37-10-1. Now, the 37-10-1 has reared its head before in a previous reading, and I'm going to quickly go there now because I've just realized that now myself. Here's a slide with Catherine and William. You'll see the 37-10-1 in their marriage as well. And we'll come back to the slide properly, but I'm just quickly showing 37-10-1 in their marriage as well. So it's evidence, and let me just mark it orange here. There's evidence that obviously there's more than one person making a decision about what happens within the royal family. There's clear evidence of that. I mean, there's no real connection between Charles and Diana at all. And that 16-7 becomes something of the nature of surrogate or marriage, or rather, the 16-7 becomes a marriage of convenience. The Sacred Union 7, I believe, was a transactional contract. So marriage with an outcome 19-10-1 is a transactional relationship. Now, what concerns me is the 18-9 in the middle of their marriage date. Because their marriage, in a sense, would have to end by murder, or ends by murder. And we'll get into the divorce date in a minute. But that 18-9 with that hidden 36-9, not good. And the 37-10-1, not good. As transactional as you can get. And when I was putting these slides together, I was kept on being shown when Diana was very young, or about the time when Charles married her. I mean, she was a baby. She was like 4 or 5 days, I'll tell you now. So she got married 28 days after turning 20. So effectively, she was 19, having just turned 20 when she got married. All right. Now, what I also wanted to point out, these are lots of Easter eggs in this episode, as I found. The coincidence or not, the registered date of death or murder of Princess Diana has an 11-2 outcome. And the exact same numbers ping directly on the outcome for Charles as well. Now, I did go further into that reading, if you want to go look at it, if you haven't seen it. But I'm just giving a lot of Easter eggs in this episode that while I was unpacking these numbers, things were popping out here. Now, you'll note that the divorce date in the day, 36-9 89 matches when they got married. And we'll note the outcome quite hectic. 43-7, 25-7, 16-7 pings directly on Diana and Charles again. All right, so unfortunately, very little that connects Diana and Charles together in any manner. And there's matches between their marriage and divorce dates, and the murder date pings directly on Charles there. So we get to Catherine and William, and their marriage date, April 29, 2011, gives us the 4/29/11/24 outcome. Now here we have the same situation, 37-10-1, all in favor, aye. Transactional, 19-10-1. Now the 15-6, for me, I don't know, it doesn't sit well there. So 15-6, we've got issues with the relationship on a sexual basis. Infidelity, cheating, those kind of things, 15-6. When you look at Catherine and William combined with their date of birth, I've mentioned before, they share the 22. And of course, Catherine does have the 10-1. She will go with the company, with the firm. She will go with the party line, 10-1. But keep in mind, the outcome 1, she will maintain her independence within that group or that den. Catherine will maintain her identity with the 1 outcome. She has the 1 in the January. And with her 12-3-3, maintains her identity. And of course, there's very little else that connects. Well, they've got a few pings actually. But their marriage, definitely transactional, approved by the lords and who proceed over these things. So, just as a matter of interest, last known public appearance of Kate, official last known, let's call it the real Kate. We see that 37-10-1, as I mentioned before. And we got the 37-10-1. Right? Now we're going to look at William and Charles. Their outcomes in their dates of birth match completely. Their relationship is one of a transactional nature. Given all the family and all that stuff, but in the main, is of a transactional nature. So there's very little else that connects them, which I find interesting. And there's no love or warmth or hugs coming around these people. It's handshakes, pats on the back, pats on the bum, and yeah, that's about it. Then this slide here, just briefly, no connections here either. No connections between these 3 at all. No connection. No human connection. Now, a few days ago, I heard something to the effect of William, or when William became heir apparent or created Prince of Wales, it caused some issues in that there were some legitimacy issues, or there was some issue. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not a royal family follower. So I thought, let me just have a look at the days that he was heir apparent and created Prince of Wales. So if we look at September the 8th, 2022, do we see something familiar? All these 8s, something is out of sync here, out of balance. And you'll note the 25/7/16/77 reflects the same numbers as the divorce date of Charles and Diana. And 25/7, not very good. Not very good. And I'll explain why. And then we go to September the 9th. Here we have a stack of 8s, 3 9s, and we got the 18/9 in the middle of the day. And when I was meditating on this, the 999 where it sits in that triangle, that is problematic. So I'm going to make a bold prediction. I'm going to put my neck on the block. With this person, William, as king, or heir apparent, let's say, his legacy will be a disconnect, divorce from public. And I would even go as far as to say divorce from the throne. And with the outcome, he will then be murdered. He will be a murdered king or ex-king, however you call it. But his legacy is going to be a banished king, like shame on him, and will be murdered. Is what I see with him. In terms of him being king. Not very good numbers here, I'm afraid. And this, for me, with all these 8s, it's one of those situations again, it's forced. So whatever the behind-the-scenes reasons for the protest of him becoming heir apparent, etc., I'm not aware of that, or I'm not familiar with that. But I can tell you on these days, if I was ever given the opportunity to be a king and they said, okay, so this day and this day, I would say no, rather give it to William. Not good days at all. So, not good at all. I believe, and we have been for many years, fooled by the firm. So to answer the question, is the title of Princess of Wales cursed? And the answer is no. It is the operational team in the background, the collective in the background, that are playing God. And the issue is we get lied to in the public, that they operate like the Vatican City with their own rules and regulations, destroying women. I mean, look at this picture with Princess Diana. I mean, she was going through tough times in terms of bulimia and eating disorders, and it is a real thing. But when you have that stress and strain and pressure coming from these males or the firm, because there was Big Mama in the background as well, that you have a limp-looking Kate composition picture video sitting on a bench. And in the earlier days when things were still honeymoony, lots of warmth in the face, life in the eyes, and how the manipulation continues in the background from birth to death with this lot. So I don't believe it's a curse. It's the hands of human beings, or you know what I mean, manipulating as they go along. And even as recent as these latest media scares, again, when William is made heir apparent, we have all those eights around. And I will just like to say with that 18-9, what comes around goes around, mister. All right. All right, that's what I have for today. Let me know what your thoughts are. There's a couple of Easter eggs here to delve into. But very little human connection between all these people. Very little human connection. All right, let me know what your thoughts are. Do engage with the comments. I love engaging with your comments. And please stay safe out there. Stay alert, and I'll see you in the next one.